Isn't it great that the Rangers' Friday performance was Friday and not Sunday? Just think about real quick.
The
Rangers take 2 of 3 from the Angels. We are feeling great. They scored 26 runs in the last 2 games of that series. We just talked about Nathan Eovaldi. They had to pitch position players on Saturday and Sunday to finish those games. But Friday night, the Rangers had another game won. It was they were up 4-0, I think. I mean, I know it's 4-1 going into the 9th inning. I believe it was 4-0, then 4-1 after 8, and then tie it up, win it in extra innings for the Angels. And I was honestly mad. Like, doing the post-game show, I was just, as a fan, I was mad that it kind of happened again. And I know it's going to happen throughout a season, but when it's all bunched together, when you've played, I believe, 32 games right now, right? The Rangers are 20-14. When you
20-13, maybe? Or is it
I'm 99% sure it's 14, but you can check real quick. Is
20-13.
Okay. All right. Well, let me.
In your face, Mike.
Was the Friday one that bad? You're like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and put another tally.
Another L on the board.
See, I'm not hating on the Rangers. I love the Rangers.
Out of the 13 losses, it feels like you could very easily say 4 of those were easy wins. And if you're 24-9 right now, and you're not really asking for much, right? You're just saying, hey, can we hold a 4 or 5 run lead against some teams that might not be the best teams in the league? It wasn't the Phillies that came back, or who I'm about to talk about, the Astros. It was Oakland or Kansas City or obviously Cincinnati. The Angels have a good record, but I do think the Angels will fade as the season goes. Their pitching is horrible, and the Rangers showed throughout that series that the Angels pitching is not good. Ohtani's unbelievable, but after Ohtani, they don't have a good starter. Tyler Anderson is Andrew Heaney. That's their second best pitcher. It's really not even close. Reed Detmers is very inconsistent. He might end up being a good pitcher, hopefully not later in the year, but later in his career. But he's not ready to really give you solid innings in the major leagues. He can lose it in the snap of a finger, and we saw that on Saturday, how he can lose it and quickly lose it. But I want to talk about the Houston Astros because that's Kevin's
favorite team.
No, I know that's going to come back to cost me, but before it does, I want to make clear, no.
Ever since the Rangers have kind of given up the division in 2016, it's been owned by the Astros, and it hasn't even really been that close. And the Astros, going into this season, had lost Justin Verlander. And I felt like, yes, that matters, but not that much. Why do I say it doesn't matter that much? Well, I thought they picked up Jose Abreu. That helps out their offense. I feel like he's still a very productive player, even though he's getting older. And you looked at their rotation, and you just said, it's still really good, and I think arguably the best in the American League West. Framber Valdez, to me, is the best left-handed starting pitcher in the game today.
Okay.
Now, I get Clayton Kershaw, 1 pitcher of the month. Great pitcher still, but you know, how much can you count on Kershaw's back staying right for 30 games and putting up the ERAs that he used to put up in 30-plus starts? Christian Javier, really good pitcher. Well, he's still pitching. Hunter Brown, a really good young prospect, pitching great as a young prospect. They had Lance McCullers. They had Luis Garcia. They had Urquidy. They had 6 starting pitchers going into this season that they could somewhat count on. So you're just going, son of a gun. Like, yeah, they lost Verlander, but they still have
plenty more folks.
Depth. They have 5+1. Well, let's look at how vulnerable the Houston Astros are now. Rock the baby to sleep, Luis Garcia, good pitcher. He can't rock the baby anymore because of the pitch clock. And Reggie, we were talking during the break. This could have contributed to his injury. He's done for the year. He's having Tommy John surgery.
The pitch clock, you think?
Well,
yeah,
when you have to rush yourself and you're not going through your mechanics, he had to change his mechanics. And so you wonder if that was a little bit more stress on his arm.
Yeah. I mean, just to fully explain it, because I don't know if everybody understands that, like, his mechanics had a full, like, rock the baby element to it in his windup. And so it took a while to get that done. And in an instance where now you have a very limited time for that pitch clock, you have to make that go quicker. So that changed the way that he pitched for God knows how many years, Mike.
Scientists and teams are looking at this, and it's going to take more than a month of baseball but they're wondering if the pitch clock is going to add more injury to the game. I think what's really tough is you just don't know with everything that's come into the game, the different training, drive line, the kind of heavy ball work that pitchers will do. Like, there's a lot of things. It's kind of like, what went wrong in this game? Well, there's a pie. It can't just be one thing. There's multiple things. Or what went wrong with this season? It can't be that just this one thing. But people are going to look at it and go, hey, we're getting more injuries in 2023 to pitchers. Is it because they're having to work quicker? I don't know if that's the answer or not. You're going to have more data before you start adding that to the pie.
How long do y'all, and I don't mean to like diverge away from your broader point about the Astros, but how long before that data set you feel comfortable with we have to adjust? Because I think you're right. I don't think they're going to look at 2023. Is it 3 years? Is it 5 years before they're like, holy smokes, look at these consequences?
I think you probably have to give it 3 years because the Luis Garcia injury could be this. They pitch into the World Series almost every year. Every year it feels like the Houston Astros are in the World Series. I know they're not, but it feels like it when you look at the history of from 2017 to 2022 that they are going deep into the playoffs or making the World Series.
Yeah.
Could it just be that extra month of super stressful pitching finally broke another pitcher, Luis Garcia? We see it happen quite a bit. Pitchers might come back from having a great World Series or great playoff run, and they are slow to come back the next year, or they struggle the next year, and they'll talk about, man, that extra month, and not only that extra month, but that was premium baseball, that just really killed my 2021 because of that. So there's a lot that goes into it. But the vulnerability of the Houston Astros, Lance McCullers, surprise, surprise, he's on the injured list. That's his career. He is not as good as Jacob deGrom, but he is on the injured list all of the time. And so I don't expect Lance McCullers, I know last year he made 20-plus starts, but I don't expect him to make close to 30 starts. I expect him to make around 20 starts. That's who he is. He's an injured pitcher. Jose Urquidy, he has a shoulder injury that he hurt at the end of April. They're hoping to get him back at the All-Star break. Yikes. So now all of a sudden you had 6 starting pitchers. You had 7 last year in the playoffs because Hunter Brown had come up and shown the ability to pitch in the major leagues, and he's having a great start. But you had Verlander. Verlander's gone. He ain't coming back. McCullers out, is going to be an in and out of the rotation guy. Luis Garcia, done for the year. Jose Urquidy. Thanks a lot. He is going to possibly be back in mid-July.
Right.
This makes them very vulnerable.
On top of the injuries that they've had in their lineup, obviously Altuve still has not made it, and Brantley kind of oft injured guy as well. Like, they have injuries in the field as well.
They are a very good team. They still have a very good lineup. They still have a good bullpen. They still have a good rotation, but now they're starting to have to put people into the rotation. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name, but they had to send a bullpen pitcher back to the minor leagues. Why? Because they are out of starting pitching. Their farm system is depleted.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody ready in the minor leagues to help. So they're going to have to take a bullpen pitcher and train him to be a starter somewhat in this month of May to build up his arm so that he can pitch the rest of the season as a starting pitcher. This makes them very vulnerable. Here's the other thing. They're going to want to trade for a starting pitcher. The Rangers are going to want to trade for a relief pitcher or relief pitchers.
Yeah.
The problem with the Houston Astros is they're one of the worst farm systems in baseball.
So what are they offering up?
So what are they offering? Because teams want one major thing at the All-Star break if they're really good. Usually it's a starting pitcher. The Rangers aren't going to want that. That's the great news about the Rangers. The thing that costs the most is usually a starting pitcher around the trade deadline. The Rangers are good there. They're going to need relief pitchers, which are usually the easiest to get.
Yeah.
The Rangers have the most assets you could have. Like Ezekiel Duran's doing awesome. But if you had to trade Ezekiel Duran for a proven closer right now that has years left on his contract, I think you do it because you look at Duran and go, third base, not available. Shortstop, not available. Second base, not available. Left field, possibly available. Center field, Evan Carter's our starting center fielder. If it's July or August, it's July or August. But it's going to be 2024. He's your everyday center fielder. So that leaves
versus the desperate need for bullpen help.
Right. And that leaves Ezekiel Duran, who's doing great. I'm not trying to run him off or anything, but
Could it be that he's doing so well, that's what sends him away, right? You know what I'm saying?
Is that it gets you more for him, too. So I think to sum this up, the Rangers win 2 out of 3. That's great. They go to Seattle. Great series. This is going to be a tough series, by the way. Seattle is pitching their 3 best pitchers that are left as Robbie Ray's done for the year. Oh. So they have 3 really good pitchers on the mound. The Rangers, luckily, on Saturday and Sunday, did not need their relievers to save the game. And that is still a very scary thing. Friday, they needed relievers to save the game, and they couldn't do it. So it's scary as a Ranger fan when the game is within 4 runs in the 7th inning. But as long as they can keep tacking on, it takes the pressure off of the relief pitching. And then the Astros, who look like a team that was going to win 100 games, it's tough to say they're going to win 100 games now because of the injuries that are occurring in their rotation.
Kevin, are you hearing what I'm hearing? He said the Mariners lost their ace.
Oh, my God.
The Astros losing all these pitchers.
We kind of lost our ace, too.
Okay, don't worry
He said that the Rangers are going to win the AL West.
Oh, my God. That's what I heard.
I think they have a better chance today than they did to start the year.
And I don't know if you're ready, Reggie, but if that's the case and the Rangers are going to win the AL West, I feel like we usually have some kind of music for this or something like that.
I don't know.
Oh, no. Maybe we don't have that music ready.
Isn't the Celebrate Good Times thing?
You want to just sing it?
Celebrate.
Oh, we got it.
There's a party going on right here.
Oh, my gosh. That's
Who sings this? Lionel Richie? Is that not Lionel Richie?
No.
Who is it?
We're the KNC Masterpiece.
Who is it?
Right here.
Say it.
Text in who you think sings that song that is not Lionel Richie.
Dang it.